So here we go. So I think everybody on this call knows me, but since we're recording and some people might not, my name is Miria Gray. We've got one person coming in. My name is Miria Gray, and I'm the Community Education Officer at Chelsea Groton Bank. Before I worked for Chelsea, I worked 6 years in marketing, and I do a lot of marketing for nonprofits that I work with. So it's kind of right up my alley to talk about this. So, but before we really dive right in, I would like to know, you know, as we get into this, what you guys are looking at wanting to walk away with. So if you have something specific that you would like to walk away knowing about, I can make sure to touch on that point. So if you have something, you can feel free to unmute yourself and let me know, or you can go ahead and type it into chat and I can make sure that I touch on that before we get done with class today.
So I can start on that. One of the reasons, this is Angela, one of the reasons why I had suggested that we do this with you, Miria, is because we're running a Shop Local campaign right now. So we're trying to figure out how to reach those that maybe need social media marketing in order to sell their items, how to reach those that might not feel safe about going out of their home. What businesses, how do we reach our consumers, or how do they reach the consumers to find out who's doing curbside pickup, who's willing to deliver, who's willing to have the items shipped to their house, and how does that work? And what's the best way to get this out there? And also some of those ones, a lot of the vendors that I invited to join us today also have brick and mortar, and they're selling these items that normally go to, I don't know, 50 something. Maggie's one of them that's on this call. They normally go to like 50 or 60 different vendor fairs, I guess they call them, throughout the year. So since we're not hosting a holiday shopping bazaar, this would be a great opportunity to kind of give them other ways that they could still sell their products, even though, and some of them, Jennifer, you're on this call too. So I know I invited you because you do have a brick and mortar. However, you're still having those challenges and getting some of the items out there into sale. So how do you do that? So that's why I proposed this, and I would love for a lot of feedback from all of you to figure out what else we can do. Thanks.
Great. So we are going to touch on a bunch of things today that will kind of help people down that path, right? So Angela had mentioned that, you know, you might be doing a virtual event, and that people might be either pre-recording video or doing something live. And so when you're selling, if you can't be at a vendor event and you have a Facebook page, there's no reason that you can't do your own type of video, even if you can't be involved in a bigger event. And so we're going to touch on some best practices for video recording today. I've been doing remote video recording since March when the bank kind of sent everybody home, and I haven't been back yet. So so let's take a look at, you know, what are some important things to consider. So there are a couple of things. One, what are you using to record? Now, to be honest with everybody, I find that using Zoom with myself as my only person in the meeting, I find the easiest way to record what I'm doing, because I can see myself, I can see what my background looks like, I can see what's going on in the shot, and I can use my laptop. And so that is a great platform for me personally. You can also use a smartphone. You could use just a computer you know, with, as long as you've got a camera on that. But there's definitely different tools that you can use to record. You can use your cell phone. If you're planning on using your cell phone, then I would get something to hold your cell phone. Like trying to do a selfie, you know, holding your cell phone away from you while you're talking doesn't give the best, most professional results, because there's no way you can hold your phone still the entire time you're speaking. And so you have a tendency to make people a little bit seasick while you're speaking. Additionally, it's really hard to get far enough away from the camera to be able to show products or whatever you're trying to show people. So you need to be, you know, pretty far back to be able to show things. Thinking about where I'm sitting right now, if I had products like the picture you see behind me right now, I'm not really at the office, but you know, that's kind of maybe a little bit too far, but you need to be able to see, if you've got your products laid out, those products. So you need to be able to be far enough away from that camera. Do a sound check first. I have felt really bad for some vendors. I had them do some pre-recordings for me for the Basra Farmers Market, for our spring market, and some of them, oops, I'm sorry, everybody, I'm having a technical difficulty. My computer came unplugged. All right. So I felt really bad because one of the videos that got submitted to me, you could barely hear the audio. So they spent a long time recording, and then they had to do it again because I couldn't hear what they were saying. And if I can't hear what they're saying, by the time I post it to Facebook or wherever else I'm going to be showing it, that video doesn't upload to Facebook with the same quality that they've sent it to me. So, you know, Facebook is going to downgrade the quality of that video a little bit to make sure that, you know, their servers are able to handle all of the videos that are going up there. So if they're going to already downgrade the quality, it has to be really good quality before you post it there, so it's not terrible quality when you're done. So do that sound check. Do something real quick, you know, just do your check, and make sure when you play that back that you can hear it really well. Lighting is super important. So I'll tell you right now, I have crazy lighting. If I shut it off, it's very dark. So I have some crazy lighting, and the camera on my computer will try and make it so it's good, but you need to be able to see really well. If you're dark in the background, if the product that you're showing is dark, it's going to be really hard for people to kind of show what you're trying to sell them. If at all possible, your orientation should be horizontal. Because it gives you that bigger line of sight. If you're trying to record on your iPhone, and you're going to upload to Facebook, if you're doing a Facebook Live, it will only allow you to have a vertical orientation. So be aware of that. But if you're going to record a video on your cell phone, flip your camera to pre-record so that your camera is horizontal, because you get that wider view, so that when you're talking, when you're showing things, it's not so narrow that you're not just seeing just my shoulders and my head, that you're able to see a little bit more on either side of me. Plus it leaves some cutoff room. So if platforms end up trimming your video a little bit, you don't lose things. Have some talking points written down before you start. So some people are really great at public speaking, and yay, kudos. But you don't want to get done with your whole video and have it be like 20 minutes long and then be like, oh my goodness, I forgot to tell them where to go to buy all this, right? So just have like some talking points so you can make sure that you're hitting all of those things. And if you're not a great public speaker, the talking points will help ease some of those nerves, because you know that you're not going to forget anything, and you can do several, run throughs if you want to. Your backdrop is important. So, if I shut my backdrop off right now, I am like literally in my bedroom. So you'd be able to see my closet and down my hallway. And that's not super professional. And so as you're, talking to people about products that you want to sell, sometimes what I see is they're selling a product, they're sitting at a desk in a messy room. There's stuff like all around them, like piled up behind them, and they've got a product. Well, that's great, but everything that is around them is so distracting. And if you're trying to sell me, something that's small, like, hey, I'm gonna, sell you this marker, this is where you want people's attention, not on the whatever happens to be piled up behind me. You want them concentrated on this. So like a little bit of a clean atmosphere. You can, I know Deb's got a great background up right now, and Angela's got one that, is a background. Make sure if you're going to do that, I don't have my green screen on right now, and it happens to be working okay. But sometimes if you don't have your green screen on and you're using a background on Zoom, for example, you end up falling like back into whatever the background is. If you step out of the way, all of a sudden, you're swimming in the ocean or whatever you have back there. So be cognizant of that. And you don't necessarily need to use a fake background. If you're selling cupcakes or cookies, can you do it in your kitchen? Can you set up like a really nice display on your kitchen counter? Do you have a workroom that's, you could clean off the table and get a clean wall? Can you do it on your dining room table with just a plain wall in the background? Like, think about like, where could you use that is just a more clean atmosphere? All right, does anybody have any questions about that before I move on?
No.
And feel free to stop me. All right. So we're going to talk about how to record, like the pros and cons of kind of everything, right? So basically you've got two options when you're thinking about doing a presentation. You can do pre-recorded or it can be live, right? So there's pros and cons of each. And so we'll just walk through them a little bit.
Yes.
Pre-recorded, you can do it as many times as you want to get it right. And then you can end up editing that video for a length if you need be, right? So say somebody just wanted a snippet. If you've already done a 20-minute video and they just want like a 5-minute section to do a preview, you can take a cutting out of the middle of that video and just give it to them to show.
What's going on?
So, all of those things. Pre-recorded cons are the more times you do something over and over and over again, sometimes it begins to sound a little bit scripted. And people don't really buy in.
No, that's where she should be, especially when you guys
don't really buy into it as much when it's scripted sounding, like, that you're selling them on something that you don't know anything about, that you're reading from a script. So try and be as engaging and authentic as possible. And there's no opportunity for questions if you're pre-recorded. So like right now we're live. So if you didn't understand something that I was telling you, or if I had a product and you're like, oh, I'm wondering, you know, how big that pet bed is. Would it fit is it for a small dog or for a large dog? They could ask live. If it's pre-recorded, there's no real opportunity to ask those questions unless you are in a chat room, a Twitter chat or something. How do they contact you to ask you about the questions they have about your product? And live pros are that you can engage your audience, right? So people are generally pretty good about reading the audience. If they're not engaged, like how do you engage them? Make sure that they are interacting. Can you stop and ask some questions? Can you do something else? And you sound very authentic when you're live, mostly because it is, right? So it's live. The cons about live are that, you know, mistakes happen, right? So like 2 minutes ago, my computer came unplugged. And so like, I'm on the ground, like looking for the plug, right? But, you know, all that kind of adds to the authenticity of it. And if you're recording, like we are, and I didn't like that, I could edit that out before I published it. So, you know, so there is the option for that. All right, so now we'll get into some of the top platforms, because now you've recorded this demonstration of your product, right? So you've gotten up there, you've created a video. Like, how do people purchase that from you? How are you selling that product? And so Angela asked if I would talk about, you know, a couple of different platforms. And so these, we're going to look at a couple of different ones. We're not going to go into depth on any of them. I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview on everything. So we're going to look at Squarespace, Shopify, the Facebook store, Etsy, Wix, and Big Cartel. And so we're going to talk about what are the costs behind all of these, what does the platform look like, but these are ways that you can sell your product without having to drive to somebody's house and drop it off, or like meeting at a location for pickup. So Squarespace can be used for a lot of different products and many different businesses. So it's a New York-based software company that provides website as well as e-commerce. And Squarespace is a associate of Square, which is so you can take credit card payments. So if you need the ability to be able to take credit card payments and do e-commerce, Squarespace is great. It doesn't really matter what kind of business that you are. So the farmer's market, I use Squarespace for the farmer's market. That's how all my vendors pay their fees. I use Squarespace for Norch events organization. So if we wanted to sell a sweatshirt, like that's how we would do it. If we wanted to sell tickets to an event, we do it through there. But you can use it like the New London Elks uses Squarespace. They use it to sell tickets to their dinners. They use it for memberships, but you can set it up to sell basically anything. You can, I know that some of my vendors for the market use it. They have each of their products on there, and you can toggle products on and off as they become available or not available, which is good for things like bakeries where you may be out of, you may do a variety of different products. You can upload them all into Squarespace and you can say, well, I'm only making these 5 this week, so I'm going to toggle those on and have others off. So it can be free or you can pay a price for upgrades. Squarespace charges a 3% transaction fee for every transaction, and it is fairly easy to use. So looking at Squarespace, this is kind of how it works, right? So if you look at it, you can have these products, right? There's a list of them. The physical description of a product, you can add a picture, the pricing, you can have different pricing variations. So, you know, if you have different pricing variations or sizes, so you say you were selling a t-shirt and you needed something small, medium, large, there's a couple of different ways to go about doing that on Square. So it's fairly versatile and pretty easy to use. Shopify was started in 2004 by a group of snowboarding enthusiasts, and it's now a leading e-commerce solution, and it kind of covers everybody. It's one of the best e-commerce platforms for beginners and small to medium-sized businesses that need their hands held when setting up their store. So, like, if you don't know what you're doing, if you're not tech savvy, Shopify will help you. And so that, you know, that is a plus. Basic Shopify is $29 a month. You can get upgrade to $79 a month or advanced for $299. It depends on how much help you need. It depends on what you want to be able to do. And it's very easy to use. So you can, so this is basically their platform. You know, you can set up your store, you can add different product costs and different sizes and whatever you need. But this is kind of the back end of Shopify and themes, and they've got some preset themes, so you can choose something that you like and just upload your product into that.
Maria, can I ask a question on that real quick?
Of course.
So are you paying for that larger cost? Are you paying basically for somebody to oversee that for you? So you basically have your secretary that's working with it. You could say, these are the items, upload them, and they do that for you?
I think you can, I'm not super familiar with that end. I do know that you can pay to have them help you. So so I'm assuming that it is a little bit of a bigger price tag, but there's also some different store features that you might want as a larger business that you wouldn't necessarily need as a smaller business, that you can pay to upgrade to.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. And so we're going to look at the Facebook/Instagram store, because Facebook purchased Instagram, and they just did, it used to be the Facebook page store, and now it's just Facebook store, Instagram store. The bonus is you can have a store and upload products and toggle on where you want them to appear. So you can have products on both Facebook and Instagram if you've got an Instagram page. It's really great for business selling apparel, things that are a physical product. It has to be a physical product to use a Facebook store. But their price is free, like the basic platform itself is free, but they do have some checkout fees. It's 5% per shipment, or a flat fee of 40 cents for shipments of $8 or less. And it's fairly easy to use. So you can just Google Facebook's shop, and then when you get to the Facebook shop, it'll walk you through how to create a Facebook shop for your business page. So you need to have a pre-existing Facebook page to be able to use this. And this is basically how it looks. It's very clean. It looks just like a Facebook page. I'm sure maybe you might have seen some of these if you're toggling through, and businesses have Facebook stores now, so you can go out and check it out. Again, it's very easy, you know, add photos, what's the name of it, how much is it, you can toggle on and off if the product is on sale. It'll track your inventory for you. So you can have things hidden or visible. So Facebook shop, for most people, if you already have a Facebook page and you're going to be doing Facebook videos, is probably the cheapest, least amount of effort of any of these solutions, because it's not a new platform that you have to learn. But you do have to be willing to agree to their percentage rates, which 5% is a little bit high when a Squarespace is at 3%. So, you know, just understanding sometimes, you know, a free platform doesn't necessarily mean that there's no cost. There is cost built in. So Etsy is another one. I've heard some really good things and some not so great things about Etsy. So, you know, I would definitely talk to people that have used Etsy before to see what their take on it is. But it's basically an e-commerce website that's focused on handmade or vintage items and craft supplies and things like that. It's the best e-commerce platform for small handcrafting. So if you're building things, this is you. The price is there's a 20-cent listing fee for each item, plus a 5% transaction fee, 3% plus 25-cent payment processing fee. And this is what I've heard, is that people get aggravated by the cost of Etsy, especially for a small business, but some people really love it. So, and it was really one of the first platforms out there that was catering to the small business, handcrafted people, but there are so many more options now. But a lot of people really still do use Etsy. Its usability is easy. Okay, and so Etsy stores are very pretty. It's searchable. So, you know, when somebody's on Etsy looking for something and they're searching, they're going through every store on Etsy. So that is one of the bonuses of Etsy versus, say, like a Facebook, because somebody may find you without actually knowing that they're looking for you, right? So if you're looking for a piece of jewelry or you know, whatever it might be, if you're typing it into Etsy search, it's going to pull up all the crafters with those types of things. All right, Wix. So Wix is basically a website building platform. So it's a cloud-based website builder that allows users to create online stores through drag and drop tools. It's the best e-commerce platform for small businesses that don't have access to a dedicated web designer. The site builder itself is pretty easy to use, and the e-commerce functionality is pretty robust and enough to fill your basic needs. It's pretty inexpensive. For e-commerce, to add e-commerce to your website, it's $17 a month. If you want VIP, it's $25 a month. Business Basic is $23 a month. And you just have to go through, they list out what they are. But there's also, if you want your own URL on Wix when you build your website, so if you want your custom URL, you have to get you have to pay a yearly fee. It's not crazy expensive. It's like $150. So if you're looking for a website, it's very easy to build yourself. There are definitely people out there that can help you with this for not a ton of money. Oh, and there's Business Unlimited. But so you're just gonna have to look at what each one has and what you would need for your business. But for the most people, the basic like e-commerce platform is going to be fine. You just need to have that ability to have the cart, right? And it's very easy to use. And this is kind of what a Wix website platform might look like. So, you know, they have your products and how much it is. And if you click on it, you can find some more information. If you can use Microsoft Word, you know, basically you can use this. You know, you type some things into, you can change the font size, you can change the color, you can change the type of font, you can add different effects. So, but you can see here that the text settings and things like that are all very similar to what you would get in like a Word document or something like that. You can add links. All right, Big Cartel. I added this one on here because it is for artists. It was started in 2005, and it focuses on creators who need a place to sell artwork, clothing, jewelry, and photo prints. And it's definitely for people that are looking for that alternative to Etsy. Gold is their price. Gold is free. Platinum is $9.99 a month. Diamond is $20 a month. Titanium is $30 a month, and usability is easy. Again, this is going to be the best for artists. That's who they're catering to. So, and this is kind of what their platform looks like. So, you know, it's a little bit definitely more for the artists. And I was thinking, because I know, you know, but like Art by Eli, this might be a great platform for him. So, you know, something like this. All right, website basics. So if you're, if you decide to go like for a website, like use like a Wix or something like that. There's some things that you probably need to keep in mind. First of all, before I do that, does anybody have any questions? No.
Nope.
Okay. I just want to make sure that I'm not blowing by anything that somebody really was burning to know. Think about what your domain name is going to be. You need it to be pretty searchable. It should be something that is very similar to whatever you're using for social, whatever, you know, you don't want it to be something so different. Sometimes URLs are hard to come by, especially if you have a very common business name. That URL might already be taken. So thinking through how can you make, you don't want to make it so that when people type it in, they come up on somebody else's business, right? But adding something like DPW events CT versus like a DPW events, if that's already taken by somebody else, you don't want to add like an exclamation point in there because nobody's going to remember that. And they're going to end up on somebody else's website and they're going to think that they're in the right place. So making sure that, you know, you've got something that's branded and remind them that there's a Connecticut on it. You know, that's helpful. Make sure whatever you're designing is mobile friendly, because if you think about where our population is, they're on mobile, you know, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100% of the time. So you want that to be a dynamic website, meaning that it is going to change and fit no matter what size screen that they're on. So whether they're on a laptop here, an iPad here, or a cell phone here, the website changes based on the size of the screen that you're looking at. So you really want that to be a dynamic website so that they're not trying to read they're not trying to smush this big website onto this tiny screen, because that's impossible to read. And I know that we've all gone to those websites on our mobile phone before and we curse at them because it's impossible to read any of the type because it's so small. And like you're trying to click things, but the hyperlinks are so tiny that you're clicking like the wrong things. So really making sure that you're mobile friendly right now is important. Images, images, images. Stock images are fine and definitely better than going out and stealing something from Google that might be copyright protected. However, if you're selling your product, you should have pictures of your product. And so definitely don't go out to Google, find a picture of a hamburger and use that, because like we all hate it when we see a picture of a hamburger in a commercial and we go to get that hamburger and the hamburger that we get does not look like the picture, right, that was shown to us in that commercial. That's like the worst. So make sure that you're showing people what they're getting, right? That there's going to be no confusion, especially if you're shipping something, because a lot of reviews that people get are that the product that they saw online didn't really compare with the product that they got in the mail. So because we're not having that interactive action with our customers, because they're not physically seeing that item in person that they're picking up, buying, and walking away with, they have to trust that whatever they're seeing on screen is exactly what's going to show up in the mail, right? We've all bought things online that have ended up coming from China, and it said that it was an extra large and might have fit like a 2-year-old, right? So, you know, it's really important to make sure that, you know, whatever you're showing people is what they're going to be getting. Make contacting you super easy. You don't want these people to have to chase down like your information. It drives me absolutely nuts when I have to fill out a contact form on a website, because I really want that person's email. Like I want to email that person. I don't want to fill out a contact form. Like I find it annoying. Sometimes like I do have some contact forms on some of the websites, only because I'm not the only person that manages that page. So if there are other people, if it's going into a general email box and it's not specifically coming to me, that's more appropriate. However, if your, you know, email is coming to you, then give people that email, because they feel better when they can like they feel like they're talking to a real person instead of getting that recording on the telephone that's like, hi, you have reached, you know, wherever, press 1 if you would like to. Like that's just annoying, you know. Like we all love it when we get a real person on the other end of the phone, and we all love it when we can see that there is a real person's email address that we're contacting. And make sure that it's there. Can I contact you by phone? Do you have a phone number? Can I call you? And if you prefer text messages, be sure to tell people that, right? So if you don't have a phone number that you're comfortable giving out to the public, get a Google Voice number. If you have a Gmail account, you can get a Google Voice number. It's free. It forwards to your cell phone. It's just another app on your cell phone. But then someday when you want to change that number, it's gone, and people don't have you're not getting like rogue calls about a business that you used to work with on your cell phone, 10 years later. So Google Voice numbers are great. Keep it clean. When I worked in marketing, I used to help small business build websites. And there were a couple of times that I had designed a very clean site for somebody and they didn't love that. And then they put up, things bounced out at you and things were spinning around in circles and it was like flashy lights. It just, especially right now, is not really the way to go. People are looking for something clean. They're looking that when they look on there, they see your product. They're not being given a seizure by the flashing strobe lights and things, spinning across the screen. Think about your favorite websites to visit, the functionality of them. Like, what is your favorite look? And then why do you like that? And then try and make your site like that. All right. So I have come to the end of what I had. Does anybody have any, I'm happy to answer questions that I didn't go over to the best of my ability. If people are going to be doing like a lot of these types of things, if it's something that they're interested, especially Deb, like she likes to go to bridal shows and things like that and show her product. But if she wanted to put something together at her home or in a location, and I know that she does photo shoots in places all of the time, like to quickly put together like what you would find at a bridal show and do like a quick 5 or 10 minute recording of walking somebody through that and then posting that somewhere. If you can't be at a bridal show, as many as you'd like to be, you can, do it digitally. And, I know that she belongs to a lot of wedding groups. Connecting a bride to that quick, 5 or 10 minute video so that they don't have to wait to see her at a bridal show or go to a quick meeting. They can get a really good, idea of what she's all about. Might be a really smart idea for right now. If she's got that and other event planners do not have that, that puts her above those other wedding planners that now are going to have to take the time to meet with somebody and really explain, what they're doing, what they might be able to find there, and all of those other things, when you can sell somebody really quick and they don't have to call you. And the green screen background is great because it holds the image. It does, I'm very blonde, so sometimes it does give my hair a little bit like I've been spending too much time in a chlorine pool.
You have any other, so Mary, I know you have a lot of tutorials, a lot of questions, not questions, but videos and such. Where can they find you? I see that, well, I see your email address is on here, but what other videos are you going to be recommending that possibly our vendors could be using during the, not our vendors, but businesses that can be using during the holiday season? What's a good way to start for them?
So Chelsea Groton Bank has a YouTube channel, and we have a huge number of videos on there. Some of the videos from our small business series are there. So, if they want to learn about QuickBooks, that is uploaded to there. If they want to learn, if they've not really investigated Facebook for Business, if they're not using that yet, we do have our Facebook for Business video up there. So they can get like that intro to Facebook for Business. And any upcoming classes that we have can be found either on our Facebook page or on our website at chelseagroton.com/Chelsea University, because we're doing a lot of classes. And I'm happy to do any kind of custom you know, classes, if there is need for that, I'm happy to do anything. So
Yeah, I'll definitely be reaching out again because I think I am encouraging people in our Facebook group. That's that GNACC Shop Local Better Together Facebook group. So then people can do their own live videos and presentations in that. So they're going to have access to doing that. So I'm looking at probably in another week to start those live videos so people can schedule the live videos with us. But if they have questions on it, I'm certainly not the technology guru as you are. So I'm going to, you know, hopefully maybe we can get together again and host and take a couple of them and kind of use them as a model, you know, what works and what doesn't work maybe. What are some of the cons that you had mentioned and how do you actually kind of get away from the cons and look more towards the pros and to get people more comfortable because guess what, this is not going away anytime soon. So I think this is definitely the way to go. And in the future, you know, even when it does open up again, I still think this is something that people are still going to utilize and want to take advantage of. And when people are listening to this call, you know, contact Maria Gray. Her contact information will be on this as well as on our website as well with the chamber with all of this information. And of course, the Greater Norwich Area Chamber is here as a resource if you guys want some more different classes. And you know,